Hey everybody, Glenn here again with Deviation Sports Cards. I'm going to do a quick video. I got some requests for examples of some of the label ideas I sent in to HGA versus what they actually gave me. And then I also got some feedback in the comments where, I said I really hadn't had very good luck, but a lot of people said that they have had luck. So I figured I'd just let the pictures do the talking, so to speak, and kind of show you the ones that I've submitted as far as ideas for custom labels, and then what I got in return from HGA. I assume taking those concepts into consideration when they were making those labels. So I'm going to get right into it. So the first card we're going to take a look at is a Joe Thomas Topps Chrome X-Fractor rookie from 2007. What you see there is the label that I had created and sent in as a suggestion for what I would like to see with the card. Basically, you can see that it's got the black background with the white lettering. I kind of wanted to go with like a gold disco ball kind of theme. I thought it would look good with the X-Fractor card. What I ended up getting was probably one of the worst custom labels I've ever seen. I don't really know what they were shooting for here. There is a little bit of green in that X-Fractor in the background, which I guess could have been the reason why they went with that green in the label. But overall, I like the one that I suggested. I love the one that I suggested comparatively to the one that they gave me. It's just absolutely terrible. So as far as liking the label in this particular case, even though I didn't get what I asked for, number one, so it's kind of apples to oranges. What I requested and what I got are two completely different things, and what I got was just absolutely awful. So basically, I'm going to start here with worst and then make my way up to best. So this was the worst example of what I asked for compared to what I got. The next card we're going to look at is a Nick Chubb stained glass. This is the example that I sent in. I really struggled to kind of find a picture of a stained glass that I thought matched the card well. So I kind of had this idea of like the sun shining through, so to speak. Looking at it now with the card, I didn't actually do this before I sent it. I probably should have. I'm not really digging it. This is what I got instead, which to me is a million times better. So in this particular case, I really don't like what I suggested, and I love what they came back with. So this is kind of a polar opposite of the first one. The takeaway as far as did they take what I asked for into consideration? In this case, thankfully, no. But as far as do they listen to what you're asking for? In this particular case, again, it's kind of apples and oranges. It looks nothing like what I asked for. I'm grateful in this particular case it doesn't look like what I asked for, because what they gave me was a million times better. But as far as the purpose of the video, nothing alike. Third card we'll take a look at is this Baker Mayfield Gold Wave Mosaic /10. You can see what I suggested. Again, I'm not in love with it now that I see it with the card. I probably, like I said, I should have done this before I sent it. I thought it looked really cool, kind of the Money Mayfield concept in the background. But now that I see it, the orange really doesn't match the card very well. The gold is a little bit deeper than the yellow. What I got in return was completely different than what I asked for. Again, in this case, grateful for that. I love the way, in this particular case, the red matches the kind of red stripe in the background there, and the way they did kind of the gold vinyl on the sides. I like how that matches up with the yellow a lot better. So I think what they gave me, I like what I came up with, but I really love what they came up with as opposed to what I did. So as far as how does it look compared to what I asked for, again, it's apples and oranges. They don't look anything alike. So far, of the three cards where I sent in a suggestion, the end result, although in two cases much better than what I sent in, looked nothing like what I asked for. The fourth card was a Baker Mayfield Neon Marble /4, I believe it was. You can see that I suggested a kind of a marbly background to match that marble look And then I went with kind of the gradient purple on the sides there because I thought it matched the purples in the background kind of nice. What they gave me instead was similar. I like the background on it. I really don't care for the black accents. I don't really think it matches the card very well because there's really no black in the card. There's a dark brown in his uniform, but beyond that, there's really no black. So I am fine with the background, but I wish they would have gone with like a lighter color or one of the colors that's kind of in that marble swirl in the background. Then I matched it. So I love my design. I actually think it looks better in this particular case. But what I received, I still really liked. I don't think it's horrible or anything like that. I don't think it was a waste of the $10 like I do on the Joe Thomas. So overall, apples and oranges, it's closer. Excuse me, but it's not anywhere near what I asked for. Well, I shouldn't say anywhere near. It's just not the same. It's color-wise, they didn't follow what I asked for. And then the last card we're going to take a look at, this is the fifth card that I have a custom on right now, was an Odell Beckham Jr. Color Blast. You can see what I suggested. It has the color burst kind of in the background with the blue accents. And what I ended up getting actually is very similar. They did have the color blast in the background like I asked for. They went with a white and a blue border over here on the score as opposed to the blue with the white border that I had suggested. I don't think it looks bad. They kind of cut the accents off completely on the right hand side, which I don't mind, with the exception of the label being kind of overlapping there, miscut, whatever you want to call it, which, to be honest with you, that really doesn't show up in person. It showed up like extremely well on the scan, but when you're holding the card in person, and even if I've posted this on a couple of their websites, not websites, but a couple of the Facebook groups, and you can't even tell that label overlap is there. I'm shocked actually how much the scan picked that up. But overall, I love both of them. This is by far the closest they came to matching what I asked for, and I think they did a really good job. So I would say that this is an apples to apples comparison. It's not exactly what I asked for, but it's extremely close, and they were able to capture the concept that I was looking for. So overall, I think there was one of my designs and one of their designs that I absolutely hated. Mine being the Nick Chubb stained glass, and theirs being the Joe Thomas. As far as ones I liked, there was one apiece, and as far as ones I loved, there was three apiece. So at the end of the day, did they take into consideration what I asked for? I would say the answer to that question, as I stated in comments in my other areas, is still no. One being the Color Blast Odell Beckham is very, very close, but that's the only one that is even close to what I asked for. The Neon Marble one's probably the second closest, and then as far as I'm concerned, the other three aren't even in the ballpark of what I asked for. So overall, am I happy with the custom labels? Yeah, I am. I really like three of them, and I love three of them. The Color Blast, the Stained Glass, and the Baker Mosaic, I think are all fantastic. I think they look great with the card. I like the way the Neon Marble one looks. I like the one that I had a little bit better in that particular case, but what they gave me was still worth the $10 I paid for it. And then the Joe Thomas is the one exception that I just can't really stand. So overall, I guess the takeaway is if you want to give them suggestions on what you want your labels to look like, by all means, I don't think there's any harm in doing it. Would I go as far as to make custom labels yourself like I did and send them in? Is it worth the effort for that? Based on my experience, and the answer is no, it's not really worth it because it takes a little bit of extra time, obviously, to come up with your own design and send it in. And realistically, if they're not going to use it, then it's really not worth the time and effort to put in to do it. Now, you might get a better result if you just stick a post-it note. I've seen that on some groups where people say, put a post-it note on there with real generic instructions, and I've seen some come back where people said, oh, really nailed, this that I asked for, that. So overall, I watched the video with Tyler where he was talking about how much time these guys have to do labels and things, which it doesn't sound like they have a whole lot of time. So it's probably would be difficult to search out and find something. And also the pictures that I used, I'm sure someone will say it in the comments, oh, well, your images may have been copyrighted and this and that, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. I mean, I just went to Google Images and tried to pick one that wasn't copyrighted, but whether they were or weren't, technically I have no idea. So I'm sure that HGA has some software that has a whole bunch of different designs in it by now that really helps them, and they're kind of picking from a set template. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're designing them themselves. I guess at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. The whole purpose of this video was to just say, in my experience, if you are going to take the time to do your own template and send it in my experience, it's not really worth it because I don't see any evidence that they're actually taking those ideas into consideration when they make your labels. But with that said, I still think they did an excellent job with the labels. So from my personal standpoint, am I dogging on the company by saying they didn't listen to me? Not really, no, because in this particular case, they still did an excellent job with the custom labels with the exception of the Joe Thomas. So I feel like, if I'm going to spend $10 extra on a custom label, I want it to increase the collectability of the card that I have. Especially when you've got, so much competition. I think it's a way to kind of set your card apart from other graded cards. So if there's, 15 9.5s out there from HGA and mine's got a custom label, maybe mine's a little bit more collectible or a little bit more desirable than the other 14 that maybe just have a color splash or a neutral match or something like that. So overall, 4 out of the 5 cards, I think the labels were done extremely well. They're very attractive. They look good with the cards that I sent in. And I think they accomplished the ultimate goal for me, which is increasing the collectability of my cards in my collection. The Joe Thomas, on the other hand, was definitely a waste of $10. I feel like it actually maybe makes my card less desirable because it just doesn't match at all. But 4 out of 5, I'll take it. So I guess make up your own minds. Maybe you can reach out to other people and see if they've tried different ways of suggesting ideas, maybe something simpler or maybe a little less elaborate of a suggestion where they're getting better results. But I just kind of wanted to throw this up here because people were saying that, HGA does a really good job of taking your stuff into consideration. And in my experience, that hasn't been the case. And I just kind of wanted to show what I had asked for versus what I got, and let you guys make up your own minds. So please, if you have any good ideas on how to get better results as far as custom labels, please leave it in the comments. I'm sure people that watch this, all 10 of them, might actually want to know that information. I myself actually would like to know if there's a better way to get ideas to them that they're more likely to follow as opposed to designing your own labels and not really getting what you're looking for. So overall, again, guys, I'm an HGA fan. I think they're really starting to get their stuff together. I've got 4 open orders with them right now, and I can tell that they're getting caught up. A couple of mine were getting to the point where they're going to be late or we're getting into that real late area, and they've really been moving. I mean, this week my stuff has been moving like crazy. So I can tell that they're starting to get caught up and get their hands around things, which is really good, and I'm happy for them because I want them to succeed. So overall, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this was insightful for some people, and I'll talk to you guys later.